Hello, and welcome to another episode of OFAD with your host, Greg Frazier. Today's discussion will be on slush. Slush material is generally great, very good for beverages. These are known as slushies. You basically take some kind of ice material, liquefied ice, kind of weird topic, and then you put natural flavoring in it. It's very good. However, one thing that is not good is the actual material of slush on the ground, outside. This stuff is the worst, the absolute worst possible weather condition that you can have besides perhaps a tornado or hurricane or perhaps maybe a blizzard, okay? But even a blizzard doesn't make you slip and slide like slush does. Slush is by far one of the worst natural disasters that happens common day. You know, people are like, oh, that's slush. Look at that. Just a couple inches of weird liquefied ice material on the ground. People don't really take it seriously as much as someone like myself or my roommate Mike does. This stuff is unbelievably annoying for walking. And to put this in perspective, you're on a campus that is slanted, basically. It's a big slant. And the geniuses that designed this for winter decided to make some of the material out of brick. Now, brick looks nice. I will give you that. But brick does not have, the brick that they use at least, does not have traction. In fact, I would go as far to say that brick is meant for walls and not for your everyday sidewalk. It looks nice, but the slush is not nice. The slush does not care who you are. Now, even if you don't slip or slide in the slush, okay, even if that doesn't happen to you, the slush is about 2 to 3 inches of this liquefied ice, and as your shoe walks through it, much like the Titanic, the water slowly seeps in. You don't really realize it at first, but by the time that you've walked in this slush material for 4 or 5 minutes, it's too late. The water has seeped into your shoe, and your day is ruined, basically, because your socks are waterlogged. It's like walking through a puddle, but it's instead of the puddle actually being like a centimeter thick, this is like 2 inches of liquefied ice, and that's what I'm going to be calling it. It's a lot like walking through a slushie, and it's not fun, and it's really underrated for its conditions. It's really hard to walk through the slush. I don't know how people do it, because every year, every winter, I somehow find a way to slip on it. I slip up on some kind of material, and every year it usually involves slush. Now, what happens if the slush is not cleared up by the grounds crew, which is what happened last night? What happens when they don't do it? It freezes, and then it becomes solid ice, and then you can slip on it. And I almost slipped on it last night. So I'm obviously very passionate about this because it is probably the most underrated form of snow, because it only happens when it's like between 30, 31 degrees, 32 degrees, 33 degrees, and we don't really give it credit for how much of a pain in the ass it is to deal with this kind of shit that's on the sidewalk, and it's not even cleared. Do you know how hard it is? It's not even hard to clear this stuff. It's not hard to clear. All you get is a shovel. You get a shovel, and you move the slush away. You move the slush away. These people were so good at blowing leaves around in October, but now they can't move a little slush off the sidewalk where hills like this, the hills like this, and they can't get the slush off. Okay? And I'm not saying it's like this was over 1 hour. This slush was on the ground for hours and hours. I got here in the afternoon. It was still here by the evening when I was going down to the dinner. 6 hours. 6 hours and they couldn't clear it up. All right? The slush is for what it should be intended for. A nice slushy on a warm day in July. Not on the ground. Thanks.